Hello, it's Mark Mattioli again. We're going to pick up where we left off, reading my novel Boston Accent, and today we're on Chapter 2, titled East Horton. It's 1959, and I'm living in East Horton on the South Shore of Boston. The house is owned by my grandfather, whom I called Gampy from the time I began to talk till the day of his death 80 years later. Also living with us are my grandmother Esther and two of my mother's siblings, Dory and Philip. Philip is 15 and attending East Horton High, and Dory, who is only 10 years older than me, is at the middle school. My mother has three more siblings, aged 19 through 22, including a set of twins, but they have already moved out to start the next phase of their lives. My earliest memory as a child. Anyone ever ask you this? What's your oldest memory you have from when you were a child? Mine is sitting on the bottom step of the stairs that ran from the entryway to the upstairs bedrooms, waiting to go to the hospital to have my tonsils removed and showing no fear because I've been told that following this procedure, I'm going to get all the ice cream I want. I didn't get shit. I think that's why that memory stuck with me all these years. It was my first deception. My next memory after that was getting up in the morning at age 4 and seeing that my grandmother was missing. She had cancer and was set up on a bed in the living room in her final days. She's gone, the bed's gone, and I'm told she went to heaven. She was 52. After that, I have a lot of random memories, all of them disturbing on some level. When I was 3 or 4, I was playing in my sandbox with my cousin Brentley, who was a year younger than me but twice my size. His dad was 6'8", and Brentley would come in at 6'9", 400 pounds. Brentley wouldn't stand up to me, so I took advantage of his timid nature. Brentley and I are playing nicely in the sandbox when I decide he needs a shampoo. I leave him to play with my tonkers while I run to fill my bucket with water. I return with the water and add sand to the bucket and pour it over Brentley's head. My mother received a full report as she arrived home from work. She found me hiding in my bedroom closet. When she opened the door, she looked down on me and uttered the most horrible words I heard up to that point in my short life. No more Three Stooges. At the age of 4, I was enrolled at Williams Nursery School in East Horton. I spent the second year there, but they called it kindergarten. While in kindergarten, I picked up on something I had overlooked in nursery school. Girls. At the age of 5, I met Jane. She was the prettiest girl in the school. Every day at recess, I would ride one of the school's tricycles around the playground with Jane standing on the step on the back while holding on to my shoulders. Life was good with Jane until the school bully got jealous. The bully punched me in the nose, drawing blood. I was embarrassed, and I stayed in the shed and hid. When I'm discovered missing, the school puts together a search party to find me before they have to call my mother, or worse, the police. They find me an hour later, and I lie and say I fell down and bloodied my nose. A letter is sent home to my mother, bringing the incident to her attention. This should have been a red flag to my mother of the many letters and phone calls she would receive due to my incidents. Elementary school just got worse, with one fight after another, and almost always over a girl. Every time my mother turned around, I was bringing home a note for a parent-teacher conference. I remember being in first grade, and the teacher saying, "Next person that talks is going to sit in the trash can." Now, there was a little trash can next to the teacher's desk, but there was also a large custodian's barrel in the corner by the blackboard. I think she's talking about the big barrel, and I think that the idea of someone having to crawl into the barrel is the funniest thing in the world. I think it's so funny that I share my view with the kid sitting next to me. That's when I hear my name called, and I get summoned up to the front of the class. The teacher tells me to get in the trash can, and as I head for the barrel, she corrects my confusion. I'm to sit in the tiny trash can next to her desk. Suddenly, I don't think it's funny anymore. I was squeezed into the trash can so tight I couldn't move. Both my little arms were pinned inside, and just my head was sticking out. If you were to ask me where I was when Kennedy was shot, I have no clear recollection of that day, but I was probably up to my neck in a trash can. That's the end of Chapter 2. And I'll get back to you in the near future with Chapter 3. Let's leave it at that for today. Feel free to leave me your thoughts on what you've heard so far up to this point. Thank you. Have a good day. Ciao.